Hello friends, welcome to this new discussion. Today's video is about master creation in Sure TDS application. In this video, we will discuss briefly about TDS and TCS and why do we need Sure TDS and how can we create master in Sure TDS. Let's understand the background first. So before we move further, let's discuss what is TDS and TCS briefly. So various provisions of income tax law require the payer of certain incomes to deduct income tax and deposit it with the government. Similarly, certain provisions require the receiver of incomes to receive the income tax in addition and deposit it with the government. So when the tax is deducted by the payer, it is called TDS, and when it is collected by the receiver, it is called TCS. In both of these provisions, the payer or receiver has to deposit the tax with the government and file the specified returns to give all the details of the amount deducted or collected by them, and that's why we need to file the returns for TDS and TCS. Now let's discuss that what is Sure TDS. As discussed and mentioned earlier, there are many commercial softwares available in the market which are used to prepare the returns for TDS and TCS. The process of these returns are little complex and you have to fill in so many information. And the online tools provided by the income tax department is very complex. That's why these private softwares are available where you can use them to prepare the returns of TDS and TCS, and they also help you to do certain inbuilt checking before you file them. So Sure TDS is basically a software which is specifically used for filing, preparing the TDS and TCS returns. Now let's discuss what is the purpose and scope of this discussion today. Like any other software, Sure TDS needs to be also filled in with the master information. When we talk about the master information, basically we are talking about two types of main master information. One is the entity detail of deductor or collector, as the case may be, and the other master information is about the bank details of the branch from where the challan of TDS or TCS is deposited. Adding the master information of entity and the bank branch are the first two important key steps before you can start working on preparing any TDS and TCS returns. So when we talk about the creation of new entity in the Sure TDS, the entity means the deductor or a collector, as the case may be. And when we talk about the bank account, we mean the bank branch details from where the tax was deposited or tax is going to be deposited. The entity, the legal entity of deductor or collector, as the case may be, needs to be added once only. Once it is added, it will be visible in the list of the entities and it does not require any further change in the future unless there is any change in the basic details of the entity. Similarly, the bank details of the branch from where the challans are going to be deposited needs to be added once only, and there is no need to make any further thing in there unless there is a change in any details for the branch, which does not happen usually. So as a first step, let's discuss that how can we create master in the Sure TDS to create the entity details and the bank details. Before we move on to the process of creating the master, let's first of all discuss that what are the requirements, what are the information or documents you should have handy before you start this step. First of all, the latest version of Sure TDS application should be installed on your system. You should have all the key details of the entity which you want to add. The key details means the PAN, TAN, the PAN number of the principal person of the entity, email ID, mobile number, address, all the basic details of the entity which are required to be added in the entity master needs to be ready and handy with you before you start this process. It is important that you compile all this information first before you move on to create the entity in the masters. Similarly, for adding any new bank account which is going to be used to deposit the challan of TDS or TCS, you should have the basic detail of the bank branch, name, IFSC code, address. So basically all these details are usually available in the challan of the bank through which you have deposited the TDS or TCS. Now let's discuss the steps one by one. The first step is to open the Sure TDS. For that, on your desktop, find out the link of application, click on that link. By clicking 2 times, it will open the application. Once you open the application, you will land on a page where on the left side there is a list of all the entities which are already added in the Sure TDS. Now we have to add a new entity. There is a button in the bottom left side, the first button called Add New, and we need to click on that to create a new entity. Once we click on that, a new prompt is visible, which is named as Add New Company. Please note here that it says new company does not mean that only a company can be added here. It is about the legal entity of the deductor or collector, which may be company or which may have other legal status as well. This prompt have 2 tabs. One is company details and the other is address and contact information. So first of all, we will discuss that what all needs to be filled in the company details. In company details, you need to fill in the name of the legal entity as per the TAN of the entity, the TAN number, the GST number if available. The type of the deductor is also important. Deductor type means the legal status of the entity. The PAN of the entity also needs to be filled in. As far as branch or division is concerned, if you have applied a TAN number for a separate branch of your entity, you should fill in the branch details. If it is for the whole entity as such, you can leave it as not applicable. You will note that there are some fields which are marked with the red asterisks, which means that those whole fields are compulsory to be filled in. You can't move on before filling those fields. Now we move on to the second tab of this prompt, which is named as address and contact information. You will observe that there are 2 separate segments in this prompt. One is for company details and one is for the authorized person details. On the right side, the authorized person details needs to be filled in. On the left side, the company details needs to be filled in. You need to fill in the complete address of the company, including the PIN code. You need to select the drop down state in the bottom and fill in the email, mobile number and the other information accurately, and also choose the residential status carefully as per the PAN of the entity or as per the facts. Now, once you have filled in the information of the entity as such, you move on to the right side where you have to fill in the information of the authorized person. The authorized person means the person who has been designated, who has been authorized to file the TDS or TCS returns. Usually a senior person like CFO or the finance manager are authorized to file the TDS or TCS return. So whomsoever is authorized, the information of that person needs to be filled in here. The name of that authorized person, the PAN number, the designation, the address of that person, PIN code, state, all this information needs to be filled in. Once you fill all the information, click on save. In some cases where the address and mobile number and few other key details are same, as it happens in case of a proprietorship, you may click on the arrow button in the middle, which will copy your information from the left side to the right side, and you are not supposed to fill this information again. But be careful to fill all the details correctly. and accurately. Once you click on save, it will throw a prompt confirming that the entity has been saved. The confirmation says the new company information is saved successfully, and you have to click yeah, OK. And once you click OK, you can see that on the left side, the list of entities also start showing the name of the entity which you have just added. The name of the entity, once visible in the list on the left side, confirms that the entity added by you is added in this software, and it can be used for the next step. The next step is to add the bank branch details through which the income tax deposit challans were deposited or are going to be deposited. Normally, the bank, only one branch is used for depositing the challans. If there are more than one bank or branches are being used to deposit the challan, you should need to add the multiple bank branch details. Now let's add the bank branch details. Select the entity on the left side prompt again and click on the next on the right side bottom. Once you click on the next, it will take you to the setup of the entity, and on the top in the third option, which is called masters, when you click that, a prompt will open named as bank list. This will show the list of all the bank branches already added by you. Because we are adding the first bank here, this list is blank, and now we need to click on the add new button in the bottom of this prompt to start the process of adding the bank branch details. Once you click on add new, a new prompt is opened asking the bank details. All the basic details of the bank branch needs to be entered here: the bank name, the BSR code of the branch name, the branch address, MIRC code of the branch, the city, and the state needs to be filled in by the drop down. And once all these basic details are filled in, you need to click OK. Once you click on OK, a confirmation prompt will appear which says new bank information is saved successfully, which is a confirmation that your bank details are entered. You need to click OK on this confirmation. Once you click on OK, now you can see that the bank details are visible in the prompt here in the bank list. You need to press on the close button in the bottom, and this will close this prompt. Now you have added the master of entity and the bank branch details in the short TDS, which are the first steps before you proceed to prepare any TDS or TCS return or to fill in the other details. I hope this video was informative for you. Thank you so much for watching.